And I started a little later today than I normally do. Had a very, very busy morning. I've been up since 5 a.m. running around all Los Angeles. Folks, I always try to bring you the truth and facts. And, sometimes I might say something that's wrong. And yesterday, I made a statement that I thought Donald Trump should have had Zelensky at the meeting with Putin in Alaska. And you know what? I was wrong. I did not understand Trump's strategy of what he was doing then. Okay? But now I have a fairly good understanding. And I got to say what he's doing to try to get peace once and for all in the Ukraine is really a good thing. Sonia, how are you? Thank you for joining me here today. Folks, before I begin with Diddy, Tupac, and everybody else, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share, and I keep asking for likes. Whether you like it or you don't like it, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Whatever you give me, I'll take it. And thank you. Yeah, Miranda, it is Monday. AZ Eyes. Crazy back there, eh? Thank you, Crazy Chris. You still haven't told me why they call you crazy. Folks, Diddy is really bigger on the news than his world peace thing. And people keep posting things on YouTube, and we don't know what the hell to believe. Now I'm going to talk about some things, but first of all, okay, as you all know, sitting in a Las Vegas jail is this guy, Keefe D. I don't know who he is. Lindy, thank you. Okay. But you're right, Thousand Eyes. Yes, you can indict a ham sandwich. All right, and that's what they do. Let's talk about Keefe D. He wrote a book with a co-writer. The co-writer wrote the book. He's got new lawyers. His new lawyers that say, oh, Keefe didn't know it was in the book. His co-writer put it in. Folks, as you know, I wrote a book. I didn't have a co-writer. I had an editor, okay? But my editor's name was Dennis Griffin. And Dennis wrote, for those of you who were in the mob scene, all right, he wrote all the books of Frank Collada, who the movie Casino was made after. Okay? Now, did Dennis just write the books without knowing nothing? No. He wrote the books by getting the information from Frank Collada. And anybody who writes books for others, I have a book writer that I introduced to a gal in Michigan, all right? He finally completed the book. It's going to go into print soon. All the information he got was from her, from the girl. So Keefe, what your lawyers are saying is bullshit. Let's begin with that. Now, Keefe is saying that Diddy paid $1 million for him to do what unalive Tupac Shakur. Folks, Diddy is not a stupid guy. And first of all, are you going to write a check to have something like that done? Then Keefe D says he didn't get the money. Another guy will read it to you over here. I got some notes that I want to read to you. But I want to give you my thoughts first, okay? Get some people in here, all right? And get this room rocking, all right? I call it a room, this video, whatever, okay? Folks, I was investigated from the 80s right up until my indictment in 2008. Took all those years for the FBI, the Gangster Squad. You know what the Gangster Squad is? You probably all seen the movie, all right? The Gangster Squad, it really exists. That's the Los Angeles elite police force that investigates organized crime. They were on my tail morning, noon, and night. From the late 80s to 2008. How many years is that? 20-something years. Other people on my indictment, there were 14 on my indictment. It took them 17 years before they brought charges. So don't think these indictments come down overnight. So, we all know that Diddy had his trial. We know he's been found guilty on 2 of the Mann acts. His lawyers keep trying to play the race card. Maybe they won it because he got found not guilty on the RICO. But I'll guarantee you, if his name was not Sean Diddy, but was Sean Graziano, an Italian name, the jury would have found him guilty on the RICO. Because people think that the RICO is only for people like me, Italians. That's not true. But anyways, I know how the FBI, Department of Justice, DEA, I know how they investigate. They're thorough. Don't you think that if Diddy really wrote that check, they would have had it already? Maybe the government does. I don't know. I can't tell you that. Okay? But Las Vegas is not even going to have Diddy at Keefe D's trial. Because they don't believe him. Now, Keefe D, who was the guy that came out and admitted he did it, that's why he's sitting in prison, is now saying he wasn't even in town. So how can we believe this guy Keefe D? And remember something, that is a state case. It is not a federal shout. Linda, how are ya? Linda Bean, thank you for joining me. Thank you everybody who's here. Okay, we don't have a lot of people here today. Maybe 1 o'clock, not a good time to do a live show. My son said 11 is the time. All right, but I was busy today, folks. And no, I was born during World War II, Shahara. All right? All right, people talking to Linda Bean. Ray Johnson, how are you? What you do is research instead of believing. You know, people need to do research. I do my research, and I read, okay? When I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. Now, why would Diddy, let's play, we're for the government here, and we're all investigators, okay, and we're hearing all these rumors that everybody's saying across YouTube. Okay, so we're investigating Diddy, who's sitting in NDC, Brooklyn, waiting for sentencing on his other charges. Okay? How do we get him for the demise of Tupac? Well, the first thing is that he had a monetary gain. No, he didn't. Not with Tupac. Because Tupac was signed to death row. Okay, so Diddy didn't have. But I read some reports. Let's read these. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the man charged in Tupac Shakur's murder, has claimed that Sean Diddy Combs offered him $1 million to kill Tupac. Shakur and Suge Knight. He wanted them both dead. Okay? Well, he didn't like Shakur. I knew that. All right? Davis alleged that Diddy paid the money to Eric Von Zip Martin, who was in the car with Davis at the time of the shooting. I don't know this Eric Von Zip. He got paid. He didn't pay Keefe nothing. And supposedly it was a check. So you just don't walk into a bank and cash a check. You don't do that. You deposit it. Then you got to take the cash out slowly. Now, if that were the case, the FBI would have that information. And our government could be bringing, the Department of Justice would be bringing charges if that was the case. I don't see those charges. Okay? Because finding money trail is the easiest thing that the FBI could do. All right? Diddy has consistently denied any involvement in Shakur's death and has not been charged in connection with the murder. Las Vegas police have reiterated that Diddy has never been considered a suspect in the Tupac Shakur homicide. So now that's the Las Vegas police, different than the feds. But they're claiming that Diddy was never a suspect in it. I would have to imagine if there was a check, even the Las Vegas police would have been able to find that. All right? And it's important to note, as I've been saying, that these are claims made by the accused in the murder case and they not confirmed. Okay, so Diddy would not have a financial motive. That takes that off the books. Jealousy. He was very jealous of Tupac. What? Tupac's family has hired an attorney to investigate a potential link. See, a potential link between Diddy and the murder. So there's several investigations. Thank you, Susan Jill, for hitting that thanks button. I appreciate it. Folks, don't be shy. Hit that thanks button. Help this old man out. Okay? You have no idea how much I appreciate that. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do. Okay? Sean Diddy Combs was jealous of Tupac. Our jail, you've heard me say this before, our prisons are full because of greed and jealousy. Okay, I read that. Tupac Shakur and Sean Diddy Combs had a complex and often adversarial relationship that came deeply intertwined with the East Coast, West Coast hip-hop rivalry in the 90s. We all remember that. Initial acquaintance and alleged friendship. Diddy and Tupac were reportedly acquainted, and Diddy expressed a desire to befriend Tupac, according to People.com. There's even an account suggesting that Tupac freestyled with Diddy. Oh, maybe that happened too. All right, maybe they did. They're both musicians, correct? All right. The quad shooting. Oh, remember the quad shooting? Oh, I know everybody was there. I do. I was very close friends with Jimmy Henchman. I'm surprised we're not hearing Jimmy Henchman's name mentioned a lot. Okay? And they say that Jimmy proffered. Did he proffer anything against Diddy? Did he do any work for Diddy? Because they were close. Okay, and who did the shooting? Haitian Jack. I knew Haitian Jack. Haitian Jack's the guy that slept on my couch for a year. Then he got an apartment upstairs where I lived over on Swall. Okay? You go back and hear things that I've had to say about Haitian Jack. Okay? But Haitian Jack is the guy. Also, Tupac Shakur, for that supposedly rape at the hotel in New York, or it was actually New Jersey, I think. Who was there? Haitian Jack. And another guy named Ricky Lee. They were the two guys there. Nothing happened to them, but Tupac got arrested. Who got him out? Not Diddy. Diddy could have put his bail up, took him out, and signed him up. No. Suge Knight flew from Los Angeles to New York and bailed him out and signed him up. And that's how Suge Knight got Tupac Shakur with Death Row. Which was a very good thing. Now, who owns the publishing of Tupac Shakur? Death Row. I don't know if Suge taking care of the family or what. Okay, I think Snoop Dogg now owns Death Row Records. Okay, so I can't speak intelligently enough about that there. But I can tell you, I've been told that story by Haitian Jack a million times about Quad Studio. So I know about that there. And Diddy was there in the offices with Jimmy Henchman. All right? But now let's take Biggie Smalls. Folks, please share this room. Subscribe. I'm only seeing 38 people here. My God, that's nothing. All right? And I gave everybody sufficient notice. Thank you, Lindy. Subscribe. Okay? Help me out, folks. Because it takes me a long time to prepare for this information that I come out here to talk to you. Okay? Hater Godspeed. All right, Christopher Wallace, we all know him, Notorious Big. And Sean Combs had a close, multifaceted relationship that was part business and part brotherhood. Diddy, then known as Puffy, discovered Biggie in 1992 and signed him as one of the first artists to his newly launched Bad Boy Records in 1993. Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die. Isn't that funny? It was his first album, Ready to Die. That was released in 1994. Became a multi-platinum success, making him a household name and solidifying Diddy's reputation as a hit-making mogul. Who was Biggie? And his hit record that made Diddy famous. Let's think about that for a moment. Now, they want to point the finger that Diddy had something. You got Gene Deal, who says he was there. Okay. Didn't happen too far from me, folks. Just a few blocks down the street is where the event took place. All right, and Cedar Sinai, where Biggie died, right down the street. I remember that night. I was sitting in my apartment. I heard it all over the news. All right. It was a bad night. Terrible night. Big talent, big guy. We lost. It was horrible. So we lost Tupac and Biggie. And Suge Knight is saying that the same people demise both Tupac and Biggie. But he doesn't give no names. Supposedly, all right, Suge Knight was in the car. There were other in Las Vegas when Tupac got shot. Okay. But he could have seen who was in the car. I haven't heard him say that he saw Keefe D in that car. Now the guy that supposedly did the shooting, that Keefe said he got the gun for, his name happened to be Orlando, I forget the last name. I want to say Bloom, am I correct? Sonia, thank you, my God. Sonia, you're so kind. I love you so much, Sonia. Thank you, I appreciate that. Sonia hit that thanks button, $14. God bless you, honey. Okay, God bless you. Where was I? Okay. And folks, I'd like you, leave your comments. Tell me what your thoughts are on all this here. No, I don't know. I wasn't there. So I'm only assuming. I'm trying to talk about trying to think like a cop, all right? Where is Diddy's involvement? Now, that guy Orlando, he ended up dead. I think he was an East Coast guy. Keefe D is West Coast, California, out of Compton, I believe. Okay? So, why would, for $1 million, look, the people do a lot of things, but he didn't get $1 million. He's sitting in jail, and he lie after lie after lie. So how can we believe this guy? How can we believe that Diddy really paid $1 million? Now, I'm sure that if Diddy, who was a billionaire, all right, if he wanted to get $1 million in cash, he's quite capable of doing it. Because if you pay it in cash, and he did it in such a way, okay, well then, there's no paper trail. It would only be somebody's word who said they got the $1 million in cash. Now that other name that I mentioned, is he talking to the feds who supposedly got a check for $1 million? All right? And could the feds bring a case on this? So how could the feds bring a case? I've been thinking about this. It happened in the state of Nevada. So right now, it's only a state case. How could they bring Diddy into this here? He was in New York. He wasn't in Las Vegas at the time, I believe, right? Am I right? Lindy, you're probably right, okay. I think that he did have some involvement, some way. But if that check existed, I would think they would have already been to a grand jury and did an indictment. I don't see it. We keep saying there's going to be other indictments on Diddy. And there's a new sheriff in town, Jay Clayton, who Trump appointed. Jay Clayton did write, I read that letter to you that he wrote to the judge, asking for the maximum sentence, okay? And now I'm just hearing other people saying that Diddy, Sammy Gravano said he's going to get 20 years. And Sammy Gravano had the same lawyer, Mark Agnello. I didn't know that. That's for somebody on YouTube. I don't know what to believe, folks. There's a guy on YouTube, and unfortunately I cannot remember his name. He's doing a good job. Seems like a very nice guy. But he's tearing apart people who are out there lying and bullshit. Okay? I mean, there's some people that hate Diddy like he was their neighbor. I don't hate Diddy for the freak-out parties. I hate Diddy because he's a woman beater. And I hate all woman beaters. Okay? I told you I met Diddy one time. It was so long ago in a nightclub. I think it was on La Brea or Highland in Hollywood, West Hollywood. And I was with Jimmy Henchman. Okay? And we shook hands. We looked in each other's eyes. That's it. You don't remember me. I only remember that one meeting I had with her. So I can't say nothing about him. All right? I had no, whatever anybody wants to do in their bedrooms, I believe it's their business. But I don't believe the men should hit women. They should not hit women. They should not abuse children. We're hearing about that he had all these underage kids. You got this gal, Allie Carter, out there talking about the tunnels underneath Diddy's house and how he's got kids caged in cages. And that she's Tupac's daughter. Lie, lie, and lie. But she got a big following, and you got people to believe her. She even said there's a Starbucks in the tunnels that he has. A Starbucks. Come on, give me a break. But people believe her. And I'm the only one that talks about it. You're right, Lindy. If you're involved, you don't leave a paper trail. Okay? And you get rid of everybody that was involved. Don't forget, all these gangs and all these other criminal organizations, they learned from us, the Italians. They'll tell you that. That's where they learned from. Tracy, you think Allie is telling someone else's story? I don't know. Maybe she made it up. I don't know. But it's so preposterous. Stephen, would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee grow? Oh, I guess that's a joke. Huh. You know, there's a joke. Somebody sent me a joke. It was really funny about this minister. Let me try to do it, folks, for you. You will enjoy it. I really can't do it. It was about this guy and his wife. We were going to take a trip to Florida, go to where they, same hotel where they had their honeymoon, but they both couldn't get tickets at the same time. So the guy had to fly out one day and his wife was going to fly out the next. So the guy flew out, he got in the hotel, and he sends his wife an email saying how beautiful it is, the weather is warm, and it's really hot, okay? And, but when he emails her, he left one letter off her email, and it went to somebody else whose husband recently passed. And she thought it was an email from her husband. I can't say it. I'll try to post it, folks. Okay? Oh. Did Tracy, you stop listening to her too. Okay? Look at, I know two gals from Baltimore who lived with Tupac when they all came here from Baltimore. Okay? They all slept together. I know who they are. Two girls are my friends. And I can tell you, one of them gives a great massage. Okay? So, folks, when I tell you something that I do know, I could talk about it, but I don't talk about it. All right? But, you know, I'm bewildered about all this stuff. And, I predict Diddy will get 10 years. I might be right. I might be wrong. I don't know. It was the mafia and the CIA, Baba Roga, to your question of who killed JFK. Okay? It was a concerted effort by both. So, folks, has everybody subscribed here yet? Hello, David. Give you one pickup line to impress a girl. Man, I'll tell you something, folks. I'll tell you how I met my second wife. All right? It was in Las Vegas. Back in the days when Vegas was Vegas. And I was at the Las Vegas Hilton. And in the afternoon, there's not much happening, but where the clubs are, I was sitting there. I brought a guy to work for me with me, and sitting with my friend who was the pit boss there. All right, and we're sitting down, and this is in the afternoon, and there were only two other guys in the place sitting several tables away. When walks in this beautiful girl, dressed in silk, gorgeous. And here it is. I look at her. I said, now that's the kind of gal that I want. Now, later that evening, that place turns into a nightclub. I'm at the bar having a drink. The band is behind me, and you could see out into the casino. And there's a line to come into the club. And I see that girl at the end of the line. I go to the guys at the front door. I tell them, get that gal at the end of the line, bring her up and put her at this table, right in front of the band. And they do that. So now they bring her in. She don't know how the freak she got there. Now they sit her at a table right in front of the band. And here I am at the bar. Yeah. I send her. I go to the waiter, go give her what she wants. She ordered wine. And then I walked over. I said, hi, do you mind if I sit here? And she says, well, I just wanted to be alone, if you don't mind. I said, well, I just wanted to be alone too. So why don't we be alone together? And I sat down. And that's what it took. And I gotta tell you, from there, we went out, played backgammon, and I won. I give her half the money. We went to the blackjack table. I won. I gave her half the money. That's what I do when I'm in Vegas and I got a girl with me. I take care of her too, all right? I'm not a greedy guy. And so now, we were having breakfast. Before you know it, she's got a flight back to San Francisco. I got a flight to get to New York. And we both run to our rooms. I pack up, I'm leaving, I go downstairs, I checking out, when I hear my name over the loudspeaker. So I pick up one of the phones. It's her. She wanted my address. I give her my office address. I was a married guy. Folks, the next day, when I got to my office, there was a dozen roses from her to me. First time in my life that ever happened. And that's the last time. Except my daughter sent me a dozen roses one time. Okay, but no, first time a girl ever sent me roses. I was astonished. I tell you, she was gorgeous. Her name was Rosemary. You can read about her in my book, folks. Okay? You don't want to miss it. At the end of my book, all right, I wrote letters. You don't want to miss that letter. Okay? You will cry when you read it. All right? So now the following, I owned a condo in Pompano Beach. My wife, my kids, and my mother were all there. But my brother was at my mother's house. Went there. We had dinner. We're sitting down, and there was an airline called People's Airlines. They just beginning, and they had announced, it was on TV, $99 round trip, Los Angeles to San Francisco. Look at me, Bruce. I don't believe that. I said, go call. I said, if it's for real, get me a flight out Thursday night into San Francisco. He comes back, he says, you're going to San Francisco Thursday. Really? I call her up, comment. She picked me up at the airport. Folks, we went to the hot tubs. Then we went and had something to eat. Then we went to her apartment and did not leave the apartment, okay, until Sunday when it was time for me to fly back to New York. And then the following week, I called her up. I says, on Friday, when you get off work, make sure you have your suitcase packed. Go to American Airlines. There's a ticket in your name, flying you into New York. I have a limousine pick you up at Kennedy. They'll bring you to my room. And folks, that's how it went, back and forth every week. All right, that was a long distance relationship. But we ended up eventually getting married and so forth. But it's, anybody that's read my book, okay, that's the letter. I wrote a lot of letters. There's a letter to Sonny Franchise, to my mate Joey Pyle in London, to Michael Franchise, yeah, okay. Okay, Sonia, you like that, huh? So, it's all there. People asking me, what gangsters did I know? They're all in my book. I knew the real guys, the real gangsters, and the real days, like Frank Costello, Russell Buffalino, Carlo Marcello, the real guys, the guys that you all seen in movies. So folks, I hope all this helps, and maybe someday we will get an answer of what happened to Tupac and to Diddy, Biggie. I don't know. But, you know, I can't understand. The courts in Las Vegas must really be packed because Keefe D's trial is not till February, and he's been in it like a year already. So they must be jam-packed, or they might be having a problem. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's thing. Please subscribe, like, share. And, you know, you could hit that thanks button. We had a couple there today do it. You have no idea how much this helps me to keep going. It motivates me, okay? But, Miranda, you want to read my book and read that letter. Maybe someday I'm going to read that to you. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. You want me to read that letter to you? You want me to read parts of my book to you? Please leave it in my comments. Okay? Folks, everybody go out, have a wonderful, blessed day. And as usual, I give you all my love and respect from my heart. I thank you all. God bless. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.